Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know's on third. One of the key elements of Rain Man is Raymond's insistence whenever he is anxiety ridden is to go through the Abbott and Costello Who's on First routine. One of the most endearing moments in the film. So we're going to discuss Rain Man with you today, and Ben.
Thank you. Thank you for that opening. What else would you? What other things outside of that example are some more enduring moments from the film?
Well, I think one of the key elements for me is in the beginning of the movie when Charlie, Tom Cruise, is talking about his anxiety-ridden moments as a youngster, as a young child. He had this imaginary friend, Rain Man, and Raymond becomes his Rain Man by the end of the film, as we find out. It's really just a wonderful idea. I think some of the other beautiful moments in the film are basically as Charlie grows throughout the film and really becomes enamored almost with Raymond's behaviors. I'll just start with that.
That's a good start with that as well. Another thing that I always keep in mind when it comes to this is that if people really study the film a lot, they can see that Charlie, that's Tom. YouTube, I hate that you spell it C-R-U-Z. You know how to spell his name. It's not Z. No, but anyway. I'm sorry. I had to say that. Anyway, in this movie, his character has the actual arc from beginning, middle, and end. His character comes full circle, as opposed to what you find out to be his brother, who's the same from beginning to end.
Correct. And you know, again, I think the way they handled, and certainly Dustin Hoffman's performance was incredible. In really presenting an autistic, someone on the autism spectrum, in a very, very real and compassionate way, and made the character, a very identifiable character, a character that resonates with the audience, and he doesn't overplay it, doesn't make it extreme. He really, pardon me, he hits the ball out of the park on this one.
Absolutely.
I think of all the performances in the movie, Dustin Hoffman has the performance of that movie. I'd also like to mention, of course, my favorite composer.
That's what I was going to mention. Yeah.
Wrote the soundtrack.
Hans Zimmer, right? Wasn't that a beautiful
track? And you don't normally think of Hans Zimmer writing something so gentle as that, but he also wrote the soundtrack for Spanglish, which is also a very gentle, soundtrack.
So that means he has more range. He has range.
He has a lot of range as well. Yeah. And I think Barry Levinson, who directed the movie, really. I mean, it was. I call it a deft touch. He had a really. He had a great way of bringing the characters to light and bringing the characters to the audience, so that there really isn't a bad guy in this movie, if you really think about it.
Not a single bad guy at all?
No, I wouldn't. There's no character that you would call a bad guy. Charlie is a good guy who is...
So, how would you describe... towards the end of the movie, when they're talking about where Rain Man has to go with the doctors, those doctors that want to keep him away from his brother, could that somehow be considered not so great?
They're not trying to keep him away from...
It's kind of a sad ending.
Well, not really. I think what the ending is poignant, but it's real. And in the world of mental health treatment, they don't present the facility where Raymond is staying, with Walbrook or whatever. Yeah. they don't present it as they actually present it as one of the finest facilities in the country.
Right.
And Raymond was...
So basically what it comes down to is that there really isn't a bad guy in this movie.
No, it's really about Charlie going from his anger and resentment
Right.
to his acceptance
Right.
and connection.
That's what I meant, the character arc. Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. And I think that's why you can say there's really, I don't think there's a villain, so to speak, in this.
Which is rare, because most movies have something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
there's very few, and that's why they're notable.
That's absolutely the case. I have a number of favorite things I want to say about the movie, but before we get into the positives or favorite, is there two or three things about this movie that you've considered a weakness or something that kind of could have been better or not so good? As far as the faults the film might have, is it's amazing.
It's both a positive and a negative. They spend a little time with Charlie in business. They spend a little time with his relationship with, oh God, I forget the character's name, the female character.
Right.
But I don't think there's any real resolution. She leaves, and that's the end of it. It's not like he even tries to get back in touch with her. It's just like, okay, that's over. I don't think that's real. I think but
that's a good example you just left right there. Yeah.
But I think in terms of how they present it, I mean, there's only so much you can put in a movie.
Exactly.
I mean, if you spent any more time with that, I mean, the movie's long enough as it is.
Right.
It's 2 hours.
A little over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a little over 2 hours.
So I have another thing.
Yeah.
So I've read trivia about this. Tell me if you heard about this trivia before, and whether or not you think it may or may not be the case. According to some of the trivia about the movie, before Barry Levinson, it was offered to Steven Spielberg, but because he wanted to do Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, he didn't get to do Rain Man, but possibly would have been had he not do Last Crusade.
I think Spielberg would have done a nice job with the movie. You see how he is with some of the more gentle, like E.T., for instance. Again, that was another movie that I referenced. E.T. really doesn't have a villain. Really doesn't have a bad guy in it either. So
I could see what you're saying it with Rain Man, but with E.T., I respectfully not so sure about that in my own opinion.
No, there's really no villain. The guy he's called Keyes, the guy from the agency, right? He's not really a bad guy.
Well, okay.
Seriously, he's not a bad guy, and you see that at the end of the movie, where he says, he just wants to know as well. It was not that he was trying to. I mean, he has to follow government. Anyway,
so let's go back.
Let's go back to Rain Man.
Let's go back to Rain Man's memory and how that is all shown around the movie with his memory skills.
Well, okay, so not often, but it happens enough where people on the spectrum are also savants in other areas, and sometimes I've heard it in a very pejorative way, a negative way, is what they call an idiot savant. And I think they actually use that term in the movie at one point. But no, there are people who are deficient in maybe cognitively or maybe emotionally, but they're incredible. They have incredible intelligence in another area. We see that with musicians a lot, where they may have deficiencies in another area, but they're musical geniuses.
Now, since you mentioned that we mentioned not too long ago about how it's a little over 2 hours, that's probably my biggest issue with it. My biggest obstacle is that thing I don't like as much is that once we get to like 145, 150, and it's just a little bit over 2, I think it kind of it just could have been paced a little bit better. But what do you think about that? It's a little long.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell. I think they spent too much time in the casino.
In the casino part, yeah.
That's an area where they may have cut. You could probably explain Raymond's facility with numbers.
Right. I'll tell you what I like. I want to tell you what I like about the casino parts. One thing I like about the casino is that Rain Man did so well with that, and his brother saw that during the whole gambling of it all, the actual staff or people that run the place wanted to they wanted to stop him from making too much.
Right.
And in the money part of it all.
Right. Well,
Like,
that's real.
Yeah,
That's
part's real. Yeah.
yeah,
But I like that though, that he did it so well that they
Right.
wanted to stop him from making that money.
Right.
And also I like when Tom's girlfriend, or rather Charlie's girlfriend,
Yeah.
dances and kisses Rain Man inside of the elevator.
Right. Right. Yes.
But yeah,
and that.
I know that's real about the gambling part. I'm just
Right.
like, that's pretty impressive
Right.
that they have to shut you down from counting because
Right.
you're doing.
And it really shows that whole idea of the kissing, and that when they
Right.
actually ask him in that meeting
Right.
toward the end of the movie, they ask him about it and how he describes it. He said, "Wet."
Wet.
You know,
Right,
it's
right,
wet.
right, yeah.
Because and again, as a psychologist, I understand that people who are on the spectrum, one of the issues that they have is actually emotional connection, and so it's sometimes very difficult to, for someone on the spectrum to experience a kiss, it's not the same as someone else experiencing
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, are there any particular other side characters, minor characters, or any other scenes about this movie that we haven't yet already discussed?
No, I think pretty much. The movie is a straight. While there are comedic moments, it is a straight drama.
Yeah.
It's handled. I think in terms of how they handle the subject matter, and dealing with both the emotional trauma that Charlie is resolving, and dealing with the idea that he's got a brother, and a brother that is on the spectrum, and handling, Dustin Hoffman's performance of that. I think it's such a well done movie.
I agree.
And again, my only criticism, same as yours, it runs a little long.
So we had the same.
Yeah. So again, from the direction to the scenes, the scenery itself, the background, the setting.
I thought the acting was also pretty well.
Acting was incredible on everybody's part.
Those are all good points about all that parts of it.
And I give it a 4.5 out of 5.
4.5. That's a pretty high rating.
Yeah. Well, again, my only concern is the length.
We have the same.
Yeah.
With that last
Yeah.
part. Whatchamacallit? And that song that's part of it that Hans Zimmer does.
Yeah.
It was so well that Hans Zimmer and Tom did it back 12 years later to be put in some parts of Mission Impossible 2.
I will have to review that movie again and see, because it's pretty.
It's the same exact song in both.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What else? What else about this movie stood out to you? With any side characters? With any things about the story and plot that we haven't yet mentioned?
Well, I thought Dr. Brunner played the part well. I mean, the person who played the way they wrote the part.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the movie the movie had really well writing. The writing was really.
Writing was very good as well. So the Dr. Brunner, again, you in some cases, some people may think of him as, quote, the villain, but he's really not. And he presents himself. The writing, the way it's written, the part is written. Sorry, is such that you understand that he really is concerned about Raymond. It's not about anything else other than that.
Absolutely.
Suzanne, the girlfriend, I think, she, the way the part is written, she understands that that Charlie isn't emotionally available. He's just not.
That makes sense.
And that's what happens, again, in his character development. Again, the way that was written, the way it comes about, and the way it was acted, you could see he's now toward, at the end, by the time the movie comes to its conclusion, he has emotional vulnerability and emotional
That's a very good point from said like that. Now, you gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Now, would that be an A or an A plus?
That's an A.
Just a solid A.
Yeah.
Solid A. Okay.
Yeah, 5.0. That's A plus.
Oh, okay. So that's just okay.
This is solid A.
Solid A. 4.5. Okay. So, your homework assignment for next week is to go on whatever platform you use and hopefully you get a lot of enjoyment out of it and really feel it, is the fourth Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol 2011. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and opinions on that one. So that's your homework assignment.
All right.
All right.
Great.
And that pretty much covers it for now. Final thoughts and opinions, and then
We're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, we go. So, we'll see you at the movies. Everybody dance and have a good time. This is friend and co-host Rabbi and Millennial Man Motions Entertainment LLC signing out till Ghost Protocol.